Okay, my lovelies, are you ready to build strength and function through your abdominal muscles? Well, you have come to the right place. You would like to grab your resistance band. We are going to take it into 4 different exercises. We're going to do each exercise for 4 rounds with a 10-second break in between. Are you ready? The first exercise we have is going to be a bird dog, but we're going to level it up because we're going to use the band for some extra resistance. We're going to work through the right arm and the left leg. So we want to place the band snugly under that right knee. We're going to make sure that the shoulders are over the wrists, the hips are over the bum. We're going to engage through those tummy muscles. And as we breathe out, let's go 50 seconds has started. We are going to just draw the hand and the foot away from each other. We're going to tap the hand and the foot down to the ground and up and off again. So whilst you're doing this, think about the breathing. You want to think about breathing out as the arm and the foot come off the ground. They're going to be straight the whole time for this. And especially as you take the arm and the leg off the ground, I want you to really think about keeping those tummy muscles engaged. You want to feel like you're drawing them close to your spine. You should be able to feel this really working through those tummy muscles. Now, we have a little 10-second break, so we're going to change round. Let's quickly flip that band to the other knee, get back into this position. Most importantly, push the ground away, engage through those tummy muscles, and opposite arm and opposite leg are going to come away from each other. Now, when you're doing this, you have got the ability to change the tension using the band. So the tighter you hold the band to your knee, the harder it's going to be. And as we're doing this, you want to keep an eye on what's going on with those hips. So you want to try and avoid them coming over to the side or dipping down. And you want to feel as though you are stable. Push the ground away. Keep thinking about engaging through those tummy muscles. We're working through those deep tummy muscles at the moment. This is all about stability. Let's switch over. We have got 2 more rounds to go. Now, if you want to, you can take the arm out, come in, touch the elbow, and take it out. So again, we've got coordination, but we're also adding in a little bit of an abdominal crunch. And because we have more movement within this, we are going to have to work even harder to keep ourselves stable. Most important thing in here is to make sure we can keep that core engagement, so we can keep hugging in the belly and that we are breathing. Holding your breath may feel like you're giving yourself some extra strength, but actually it is not helpful in the long run. Right, let's take it over to the other side. This is the last one we have. And if this feels like it's too much, do not worry, just stick to what we did before, where we're lifting up and taking it back down. Now, one thing to notice as well is that you don't want that leg to go up higher than your bum, because what happens, it's quite easy for when that happens, is that you then just start arching through the back. This is also really good because it works through all the small muscles of the shoulders. And let's try and keep some good tension through the arms. So as we take it out in front of us, really think about stretching out to the front. And as we take that foot back, stretch the foot behind you. Well done. We've made it through the first round. Take a little bit of a break, grab some water if you need, and I'm going to take you into the next exercise. So for this one, we're going to take it into a pallof press. So this is fantastic for anti-rotation. One foot is going to come up, so you're going to be in a half kneeling position. If you need some extra comfort underneath your knee, grab a cushion or something soft. This is our anchor. You then want to pull and rotate ever so slightly. So I'm going to do this up towards you. Hold the band by the chest, breathe out as you take it away from you. Breathe in as you take it back in. And in. And in. So you want to make sure that the hand is going on the same level the whole time, that it's not being pulled downwards, that you're also not going upwards. So let's imagine it's straight out in front of you and back in. My foot is slightly out to the side to give a bit more of an anchor point. And again, with this, if you want to, you can make this harder by holding the band closer to the foot, or you can make it easier by giving yourself a bit of extra slack. Last 3, 2, and 1. You don't need to swap legs. I quite like to. So imagine if my hips are facing forwards, I'm just going to turn them out ever so slightly. Find that tension, arms come in, breathe out. Feel like you're bracing through this core as you do so. Breathe in and release. So breathing is really important to help you with your core strength, especially with those abdominal muscles. So if you find things are a little bit too hard, often what we do is we then go, If you notice yourself making those sounds, then you know that the movement you're doing is not quite appropriate to your ability to engage those muscles. So what you'd want to do, let's take it over to the other side. What you'd want to do is to try and use your breath to help you with that strength. So the breath out and the drawing in can be really helpful, rather than holding your breath and instead pressing out on the inside of your body. So you have this sort of like abdominal cavity, and within this abdominal cavity, it's a bit like a tin can or a balloon. You have a bunch of organs that are there. So all your bowels are in there. And if you're holding your breath and you do what's known as bear down, what essentially you are doing is increasing that pressure internally, so it presses on the outside wall. So it's a bit like blowing up a balloon. The more you put air into the balloon, the more firm it becomes. But actually what we want to do is we want to create that strength by breathing out and engaging those muscles and drawing them in and creating that stiffness. Okay, last round. Let's get into position. Breathe out and in. Make sure that when you're doing this, that the anchoring knee isn't coming in. And also that you are keeping those shoulders down. And by that I mean you're not sort of using the shoulders to help pull it up. That is a sign that maybe the tension you have on the band is just a little bit too much. Imagine this movement coming from the mid-back, from the shoulder blades. You've got less than 15 seconds left. Almost done, and there you go. Take a little bit of a break. I'm going to walk you through the next exercise. So, for this one, there are 2 different options for you. I want you to sit up with the band around the feet. Sit up nice and tall. You're going to hold the band quite close to the legs. You're going to breathe out, and you're going to roll down ever so gently. You're going to breathe out again. And I want you to try and come up with control, ideally to roughly about here. I want us all to do this option first. And then for those of you that feel like this is too easy, we can level it up. Breathing out, come all the way down here, take a deep breath in, and then breathe out to come all the way up. So you're going to use the hands on this band to help you come up. If you feel like it's too easy, give yourself a little bit more slack, and that will mean that you'll have to use more of your core strength to get you into this upright position. So try and use those stomach muscles as much as you can. The band is under here just to help give you a little bit of a push. Good, last one. Let's come all the way down and all the way up. For those of you that want to take it up a notch, you are going to grab the band and you're going to have it in a wide position. So the shoulders, our hands are going to be just slightly wider than the shoulders. You're going to come down nice and slow. It's going to come up above the head. Breathe out, stand up, pull the band apart over the head. So again, this is just helping us and seeing how our tummy muscles are working. And you'll notice that as I come up, I'm pulling the band out slightly. You often find that having that tension can actually be really helpful to help engage through those tummy muscles. It's a really good idea as well to think about that rib position. So when you're doing this, especially when you're lying down, are you arching through the back or can you keep those ribs down? Let me shuffle down. Let's go again. Breathe out. Really feel that you're rolling up. Try and slow it down as much as possible. Come down vertebrae by vertebrae. Try and make things nice and controlled. Imagine there's an egg just behind you and I could get you to hover just above it. Without cracking it, of course. So if you were here, you could just hover, hover, and come all the way down. Breathing out. Come up. Breathing out to come down. So the general rule for breathing is to exhale on exertion. Here we have two parts of this exercise, which are both quite strenuous. Let's go. So it's a good idea to breathe out as you come up, inhale, and breathe out as you come down. There will come a point where you will be able to have a breath in and a breath out on either the coming up or the coming down, because your tummy muscles will be strong enough to cope with it. Now, if this doesn't feel like the right exercise for you, then don't do this. Stick with the one where the band is around the feet. I'd rather be focused on a quality rather than letting our ego get in the way. 2 and 1. See how that felt. I want you to assess, and then you can decide how you're finding this and kind of what level you are at. Right, we're on to the next and the last exercise. We don't need a band for this one, but what we are going to do is we're going to place the hands behind the head. We're going to think about drawing those ribs down, engaging, zipping up. One foot's going to come off the ground. The other foot is going to come off the ground. And from here, all we're looking to do is push through the heels and drop one foot down. Take it back up and then the other one. Are you ready? Let's get going. And what we're looking for here is to keep these ribs down and to keep everything zipped up. So you can tell if this isn't sort of the right level for you, if those tummy muscles come up, which kind of looks a bit like this. Don't know if you can see that, but my stomach is a lot bigger here than when I'm engaging it and drawing everything down. Or if when you're doing this, that back is arching off the ground and it kind of stays arching off the ground. So if you put a hand underneath this, can it go all the way under? Or are your tummy muscles nice and engaged, so that that back is gently pressed against the floor. This is working these deep tummy muscles. I can guarantee that you are going to feel this if you are doing this right. For those of you that want to level this up, let's get back into our starting position, and you are going to come down. That head is going to come up and it's going to stay up the whole time. So all this is doing is just keeping a bit more engagement through here. Just notice my shorts are rolling up. Goodness. That's it. If you've got the head off the ground, try to make sure that that chin isn't up towards the ceiling. You almost want to think about drawing that chin down so that you are looking at your knees. Last 10 seconds. If this feels like it is a little bit too much, then another version you've got is keeping the head on the ground, taking one foot up, another foot up, take the foot down, and then the other foot down, okay? So that looks a bit like this. One foot comes up, the other foot comes up, heel comes down to the ground, the other heel comes down. And then you can change round. That just gives you a little bit more rest time. Otherwise, you've got quite a lot of what's known as time under tension. So think about which one works for you. It's really important that you work at the level that feels appropriate. And it might be that you just mix and match as you go. And take a little break. How are you finding this? Is those tummy muscles burning? I got the last one, let's go. Engage first, draw those ribs down, and pick the one that works best for you. Either with the head on the ground and both legs up, dropping the heel down towards the ground with control, taking it back up with control, or head off the ground. This is the most advanced one. Or with both feet starting on the ground, head on the ground, keeping everything engaged. You can lift one up, two up, one down, the other one down. So work within your means. Got last few seconds. And just relax, stretch those legs out, stretch the arms out above the head, and just have a little bit of a wriggle. Amazing. One little stretch to do, roll onto your front. You're going to place the elbows so that they're just by the chest and spread the fingers out, take a deep breath in. Feel like you're pulling the elbows back down towards the knees and have a little bit of a stretch through those tummy muscles. Hold this here for as long as feels good, and then you're done. Congratulations.